Welcome, everyone. I'm now calling this meeting to order. Before we stand and have our prayer this evening, we're going to go ahead and stand, but before our prayer, we're going to have a moment of silence. The city lost one of our valuable team members this weekend. Mr. Cliff Wilkins was with us since 2007. He's a utility service tech, a great employee for us, and a great man. So we lost him Saturday. So we stand before we do the prayer, and then remain standing for the pledge. If you will, have a moment of silence. Alderman Gallagher is going to lead us in prayer, and Alderman Payne will lead us in the pledge. So please stand with me for a moment.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you once again for the opportunity to gather together, Lord. We pray that your blessings would be on each and every one of us and on all these kids that are here tonight, Lord. Lord, I want to pray for the Wilkins family, Lord Jesus, that you would send your Holy Spirit to comfort them during this time of need. We ask you to bless our meeting in our city. In your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for the September 21 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I move the approved minutes of the regular meeting of September 21st, 2021, with any additions, deletions, or corrections.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That motion carries. I notice we have a big crowd tonight. We have our mayor's youth council is going to be sworn in, so we're going to do that at this time. The way we'll do this, let me go ahead and I'm going to call out the names. We're going to have to move kind of quickly, but when I call your name, if you will, come to the front. And do we have enough room in front of the podium? Yeah. So if we make one line across the room, then we'll go ahead and do a swearing in, all as a group. So we want to thank Southaven High School, our sponsor, Tim Gardner. He's done this for many years. Tim, we appreciate what you do for us. And same thing at DeSoto Central High School. We have Jeff Shands that's helped us with that. We really appreciate that. And then we're welcoming North Point for the first time tonight. So now we're going to have, for the first time ever, we're going to have North Point Christian School is going to participate with us, and the sponsor is Laurie Walton. So now I'm going to start naming the names, and if you will, start your way to the front. So we have from Southaven High School, we have Isabel Alonzo, Lauren Gardner, Alea Turner, Andrew Wynn, Madison Washington, Emily Wolf, and Connor Robertson. And now from DeSoto Central, we have Amadou Ba, we have Fallon Benson, Aaron Dale, Catherine Elkins, Anaya Johnson, Kylie Pennington, Catherine Fan, Zinnia Owens, Hong Lin Sa, Iris Sway, and then from North Point, now we're getting a little tight up here, aren't we? Tighten up. Okay, from North Point, we have Mariah Timms, Griffin England,
He's not one they call.
Michael Lee Ellerthero, Noah Lee, Chase Roberts, Simone Olbuki, Elijah Tucker, and Josh Flores. So we'll do a joint swearing in, and then we can do a photo afterwards. We got an army this year. We're ready. So if all of you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. You're going to state your individual name. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi and obey the laws thereof, that I am not disqualified from holding the office of Mayor's Youth Council, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations. And hey, I want to tell y'all something. Look, y'all already signed up for this, but just remember this, that sometimes you got to step up and drive the train, okay? Everybody can't sit on the sidelines and watch. My time in public service will come to an end. All these people, their service, their time will come to an end. So there's going to come a day when you're going to be called. Maybe it's not politics, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's in your private career, your family, your church. But always remember this, that people like you have got to step up. Somebody's got to be a leader. You can't stay on the sidelines all the time. Somebody's got, like I said, somebody's got to get out there and drive that train, okay? So it's my honor to have y'all serving us. And can we get a photo, or is it too tight, Christy?
I think we can
No?
do it.
Okay.
But y'all don't have to make
Everybody else just about as equally played.
Okay, this is great. Everybody's sitting down. Okay. 1, 2, 3, then I'll get all the way up there.
Is that good? All right.
Yeah. You're on camera.
I guess I knew a couple names, yeah. Dave was supposed to be here, so. I don't know. A little miscommunication, I guess, so. We're calling AP classes, so wearing him out. But football's wearing him out. Takes AP classes. I guess he said let me know. So tonight, authorization for the provision for the ordinance on master agenda.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion?
So currently, we don't allow storage containers, but this ordinance will allow us to, under the specification.
Exactly. And what was the effective date?
January 1.
Okay, it was the effective January 1. Okay. So that will allow anyone that is not in compliance now, give them time to get in compliance.
Yes, sir. Give the planning department and everything's situated for approvals.
And this was from our ordinance committee meeting. We had citizens that came to us and requested, that we take another look at it. And so I think it was a good compromise that we were able to, allow some of this with current supply chain issues. A lot of companies are stocked out, so they're trying to buy in advance. But if we do it this way and keep it in the back of the building, have it screened, it takes away the negative of it being, an eyesore for the city. So I commend the board and everybody, and Nick and everybody that worked on this, Whitney. I think this is a good compromise. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution amending ordinance Title 9, Chapter 1, Section 9 through 13.
Yeah, this ordinance, as you recall, last year passed an ordinance that now allows for sell vehicles in yards at residents and also on commercial lots that are not car dealerships. This way the ordinance was written, it did not only allow for police to enforce the ordinance. So this revision to the ordinance allows for code to also enforce the ordinance due to just being more efficient with the ordinance and the uptick in seeing some of this activity occur. And so I think tonight, I know tonight this ordinance will do that, revise the ordinance allowing for the police, allowing for code to enforce as well as police for this ordinance. So it's just a simple amendment that will allow for other people other than police.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion?
No, so that's the only ordinance change. The only revision is just allowing police and or code to enforce.
Any other discussion?
You actually still sell your individual car in your driveway, just one vehicle. It can't be more than one vehicle in your driveway, and it cannot be in your yard. And so I think that the ordinance is not changed. The ordinance is still exactly effective that was passed last year, except for allows for code enforcement as well as police. Yes, correct. You cannot sell more than one car at a time. Unless we try.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is authorization for intergovernmental transfer.
And this is going to be passed with our table for tonight. We're still working with the county on the contract as far as getting this signed for the marquee that was previously surplus. But thankful to Aldermen
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for liens to assessments.
Yeah, this is with our yearly lien billing to assessments under 21-1911. So the properties that have been cut that we're going to do year to year, this will now turn those liens into tax assessments that will do with the tax rolls of next year. So authorization for the mayor to sign this resolution, which will authorize those liens and assessments plus with a $250 loan allow 21-1911.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion?
Has the fee always been $250?
Yes, that's the statutory minimum maximum under that, but, yes, it's $250. And the reason we do that is because it's actually under our contract to be cheaper for the city code, but the sales food and code bill.
Is there any need for hearing any public?
No, sir.
questions? Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for our Southaven Police Department to purchase vehicles.
And this is authorization for the police department to purchase used vehicles from the Missouri Highway Patrol. It's under 31713, allows for 31713 M4 allows for this. Not we have to go through the bid process of the purchasing from another entity at a discounted price for a lease use. So tonight authorization for this resolution and authorization to purchase those vehicles by the police department.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for NDL Industries LLC for the final tax exemption.
Yeah, previously, the board approved a 10-year personal property tax exemption for NDL Industries Inc. In the amount of $631,524. And since that time, it's been approved by the Mr. Department of Revenue as well. So tonight, the authorization by the final approval for the tax exemption has also been approved by the Southaven County Board of Supervisors and recommended by the Southaven County Council.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Yeah, got you. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the resolution for city clerk authorization for UMB Bank.
Yes, part of the procurement card that the city has through the state, UMB Bank requiring this resolution to be approved and authorizing the Andrew Ball, our city clerk, to have it on minutes and resolution form so they can speak for about the procurement card moving forward and deal with her on that. In the past, they have not required this, they are requiring it now, so authorization for this resolution and allowing Andrew Mullen to communicate with UMB Bank regarding our procurement card. She is going to go to.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is authorization to purchase utility uniforms on utility department.
Yeah, this, we're still waiting on information for this, but tonight just need authorization to go ahead and allows the police department to purchase from the state contract this, I think, signal uniforms. And same thing we do with public works in the last meeting. Once we have that, we'll enter those into the minutes, but it is on state contract. And so no requirement to go bid since we're using that contract. Once the contract comes in, authorization for ready concrete to sign, if required, and then we'll enter the minutes at the following board.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the resolution to clean private property.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we adopt a resolution granting authority to clean private property as presented on the state.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is there anyone in the audience that has a financial interest in any of the properties we want to speak? Hearing or seeing none, roll call please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our planning agenda. Ms. Whitney Cook.
Yes, sir. Our first application we have is for tax incentive request and approval for the West End District. Specifically, it's 9175 Mill Branch. This is, there's an existing building on site. The lady, Miss Patrice Williams, also aka Rockwell Properties Incorporated, is proposing to completely remove that building and putting a new structure there specifically for nursery school from infants to 2-year-olds. What you see right there is the building they're proposing to take down. She has submitted all of her documentation to us, and this includes her description and improvements, and that's totaling out about $316,221 that she wants to invest on the property. She's also submitted her site design, her elevations of what she's proposing to do. And at this point in time, I've submitted everything over to Nick. We've also spoken with Edie in terms of getting the tax freeze process at least started. So what we want to do now is get approval for her to move forward with the demo, with the rebuild, and we of course will come back showing that everything that was proposed has been completed so we can put the incentives in place for her. Like I said, she's in the audience if anybody wants to discuss what the building is about and why she's choosing to invest here, but she's really excited and she's ready to get going.
We have a motion to approve item 1 by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Kelly. And where's Ms. Williams?
Okay.
I just want to thank you for investing in our original business district. That's very important to our city. And so we're really excited that you're stepping up and doing that. And good luck. I wish you all the best with your new business.
Making a motion that is on the minutes, that the application has been applied for, the information has been requested, that the city does require, and then the tax payment freeze will be done on the increase in the value once it's all completed in accordance with the minutes. Yeah, that's, so just make a motion to accept the application along with the records.
Okay, any other discussion about item 1? Hearing none, roll call please.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries.
So the second application we've got is a request to subdivide or re-subdivide Lot 4 of South Lake Commercial Subdivision. This is specifically the Walmart lot. Right now it encompasses 19.357 acres. The applicant is wanting to carve out a half acre in the northeast corner of the existing lot. Basically it's parking lot at this point in time. They're wanting to carve it out for a quick service restaurant or fast casual is what they like to call it. You'll see on the next application it's for Panda Express. We did point out some concerns that I think everybody here has, and that is the traffic congestion at that intersection, and even more specifically at the South Prescott intersection. So before we decided to put this up for a vote, even at the planning commission level, we did put a contingency on all their applications that they have to do a traffic analysis of what is existing and what the impact will be with their structure there and their traffic. And we indicated to them that if there was even a slight increase, that we would not be in favor of it. Right now, they have a plan of approach that they've been working with our engineers in terms of doing some restriping and possible re-signalization timing, and they're having to work through MDOT as well as us. Those improvements have to be put in place before we will permit the building. And basically, we have to show that there is either no difference in what the existing traffic flow is now, or there's an improvement. They've agreed to that contingency, and with that stipulation, we voted, I submitted for approval to the planning commission, and they did vote unanimously for approval.
Now, where exactly is this going?
This is going to go in the northeast corner of the Walmart parking lot. You will, there's,
Yeah.
yeah, and diagonal from Chick-fil-A.
So technically in the corner of the Walmart.
It technically is. A lot of times you'll see some trucks parked there. So yeah, that's the location. What you see highlighted here, another thing that has to happen when you do a revision to a subdivision, all the adjacent property owners have to sign off on it. That is going to be a very large hurdle for them because there's a lot of quick service restaurants over there that may not want some more competition there, but that is a stipulation in our ordinance that has to be met to record it. But yes, it will be in that northeast corner. There are no more ingress egresses onto South Crest. They're using all the existing drives. And again, none of this will happen if we cannot get that level of service for traffic control down or improved or to remain the same with them on site. They have done a traffic study. They approached it the first time and we tried to basically tell us it was a level of service B, which level of service, it's just like grades at school, A, B, C, D, E, F. B being a good one, I was like, I'm really gonna need you to go back and check that again. They did. They conceded to the fact that it was easily, a level D, F. They then came back and said that they thought they would have little to no impact. We said even little impact is enough to make us say no to this. So then they approached us and said, well, if MDOT would do this, and if you guys would do this to your lights, it would make it better. And I said, that's not our responsibility at this point. You need to be doing the improvements for us, and then show us that those improvements will improve it or at least keep it the same as what it's at. And that's what we left it with them. They understand that. They feel like they can get that done. They've been working with Civil Link from our side, with their traffic engineers, and they have come up with a plan. I'm not going to say that Civil Link has approved that plan and said, yes, that's perfect, that will work, but all the approvals tonight are contingent on that. So approving, if they can't achieve what we need them to achieve with the traffic improvements, this won't happen. It's a contingency on the report, it's a contingency on the vote that we had at planning commission level as well. They feel like doing some signalization timing changes and some restriking, specifically at that intersection, would do the improvements. Like I said, I'm not a traffic engineer, so I'm not going to tell you yes or no to that. I have traffic engineers that are experts in that field. They're looking at it to say yes or no that will happen. And like I said, if they can't make that, if they can't make the adjustments and show us that it is not improved or remaining the same, then the approval goes away.
Is there a reason that we wouldn't wait until that's done before it's?
Because they kept, that's why I told them, they kept pushing, I held them off for 4 months concerning the traffic signal, the traffic analysis. But they said, we want to go on and get this through as far as we can. I said, we understand, but anything I bring up to the board is going to be contingent on that. And they said they understood that I guess to keep Panda Express on board with wanting this location, they had to show some forward movement with the city.
I'll make the motion to approve pending the contingencies that have been put on by Whitney's staff.
It is essentially a tabling yet, because it may never come on table, but they can't meet that criteria, so.
They can't meet it, they come, right?
Then there's no building permit.
Okay, so we have a motion of Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Floor open for discussion.
Right.
I don't think it's
I do believe that's a lot of it. In speaking with them at the planning commission, if the owner of Ken Express came in and explained that they asked, you know, there's so many other places you can go, why are we stuck on the parking lot at Walmart? But apparently they're affiliated and have a deal cut with Walmart on a lot of their sites, and this is something they do constantly. And I said, well, I don't know if you ever hit an intersection like that, it's your other Walmarts, but, you know, this one's special, and we're not going to make it worse.
Oh, it's special.
Yeah, I was thinking, it's special.
Aesthetically, I like the idea because of this Walmart parking lot that's right there.
I agree, I think it will soften it.
Exactly,
Well,
and that side, the traffic on that side is probably maybe a little less than it is right there in front of Chick-fil-A on the other side, I think.
I agree, and that's what I told them. I said, I think it'll soften what's already there. And they have brought up a couple of good points, and one of them being that we feel like the majority of our traffic is going to be traffic that's already in place there. And then that could very well be true, but until you show me on paper in a traffic analysis before and after, I'm not gonna guess that, because again, I'm not a traffic engineer, and you need to show that to us, because what we don't wanna do is make that intersection worse.
Is a half acre big enough?
They can squeeze it, yes, they've got good, I mean, and I'm not, it's a really good site plan. They're very good at separating out their drive-throughs versus their sit-down, it was a very good layout. And they also have a shared parking agreement with Walmart for the adjacent 5,000 parking spaces.
Walmart only
It seems to be, that's what they do, they're buying out corners inside Walmart's parking lot. I guess Walmart concedes the fact they don't need that much parking anymore. And then they just saw cut out the asphalt and go from there, they irrigate it, they turn it into a greenfield site, build up. There's a heavy landscape like to it. It's a beautiful building, that's the design reviews next, beautiful building, beautiful landscaping, we literally didn't have anything to say about it, so.
Any other discussion on item 2? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That motion carries.
Item number 3 is the design review. Again, it does have a contingency placed on it. It was also placed on the site plan, so any approvals tonight will have that contingency of the traffic analysis and the stipulations that it cannot get worse. You see their buildings, all the materials were aesthetically pleasing to the planning commission. It did fall compliant to what we require. We had some adjustments to the size of the landscaping, and we had them shift. You'll see a very small strip of landscaping between them and Southwest Parkway. We wanted to increase that. They agreed to all of that. They put the decorative lighting in, and they're irrigating it. With all those stipulations, they agreed to all of them. Planning commission voted unanimously with that contingency still on.
Bike racks?
There are bike racks. Yes, there are. If you're riding a bike in the Walmart parking lot on Southwest Parkway, you are beyond brave. Beyond brave.
I think most should be approved item 4.
3.
3, item number 3.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any more discussion on item 3? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is our mayor's report. So we'll try to move kind of quickly, but Rasco Road, y'all know the reclamation project was stalled. We actually made an adjustment there with contractors, but that is done. So it's really nice. The areas that we were having subsurface failures have all been rebuilt. There are some sections that still are going to need some potholes fixed, but they weren't failures significant enough to have to rebuild the road there. So those will be done as a follow-up in case someone asks you a question about that. Our street resurfacing schedule will start for FY22. We'll start next week. I did send everyone the list of the streets. Y'all have that. Materials have gone up, just like everything else in our world right now. So we did have to make some adjustments. There are some streets that we would have liked to have done this year that we've moved back to next year. All these are prioritized based on the condition of the road and also traffic volume. So it makes sense, you know, if you can't do two, you know, you go with the road that services more vehicles. And so it's purely objective. That's how it's done. So if anybody asks you why, you know, this one got moved back, it's why. If they say, have you seen the condition of it? The answer is yes, we have. And we're aware of the condition of the roads. And the one that took that place is worse than that one. I can assure you. I'd be glad to ride you out there and show you that. So, but anyway, the good news is, you know, we do have a good budget for our streets. And I appreciate the board's support in having an aggressive infrastructure improvement plan. It's so important that your streets are in good condition. And so that work will start next week. And hopefully, you know, if the weather, you know, cooperates in October, maybe part of November, we can knock some of these out before the end of the year. Again, if someone asks, it's very rare that we're not done with all of them by late April or early May. So we don't get to them before the weather gets bad in 2021. Most of them will be resurfaced before May of 22. Food Truck Friday, for the first time ever, is this Friday, October 8th, 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 p.m. at the Southaven Arena and the Springfest Pavement parking lot at Stone Grove Park. Like everything, you know, when you do something new, a lot of the food truck vendors are excited about it, but they have prior commitments. So we're not going to have as many, you know, on day one as we eventually will have. We hope to have, you know, a couple. Our plan is to have a couple at each location. But just ask for everyone's patience. It is going to take a little bit of time to ramp it up. Because like I said, Christy's gotten a lot of responses back, a lot of excitement, but a lot of them already had commitments for that day. So as the Fridays go on, you're going to start to see more options. And when that happens, we'll start to put that on the city website to let everybody know who's there and what location they are as well. So anyway, it's exciting. You got to start somewhere. We're starting this Friday. You may have noticed when you came to the building that we have a little construction project going on out front. Evidently, the roof drain when the building was renovated was not tied to escape the building properly. So we had some water leaks in the building. So what we're doing is correcting that to pump the water from the roof to drain it out to the west parking lot. So that project, that's what's going on out there. Two other little things, you know, last meeting we talked about the Tri-State Compact Agency Agreement. This is something that all the cities are talking about it, and I don't want to ask for a vote on this tonight because I think that it's been partly rushed because, and I didn't know this, and I hope I'm saying this correctly, but the Arkansas State Legislature doesn't meet every year like Tennessee and Mississippi. So that was the reason that they were in a hurry, you know, because they didn't want to be delayed a whole another year, because if this compact agency is formed, you'll have to have approval by the state legislatures of all three states. So they wanted to try to go ahead and get this ready where it could be presented to Arkansas this year, so they didn't have to wait another year. That's the reason for the rush. It's not like somebody's trying to cram anything down anyone's throat. But obviously there needs to be more discussion. The DeSoto County Board of Supervisors talked about it yesterday, and they still had a ton of questions. You know, in the past, it's the understatement of the century to say that North Mississippi and Memphis haven't always worked well together. There have been lots of arrangements that, you know, that did not go well, and there's been some trust issues. And so I think that still applies to some people. So I think there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered before we vote on this. But I did want to just update you on that and answer any questions that y'all had since the last meeting. If you thought about it, have any follow-up questions for me, I wanted to try to answer those for y'all. And if not, then that's the update. We'll just wait until everybody has a chance to have their questions answered. Anna Holtzclaw is the director of Region Smart in Memphis. And she, what I'm gonna try to do is have her in front of all the boards and let her explain, the details of what's, I wouldn't even be talking about this, I would mix this already. If it weren't for John Nations, who is the director of the Bi-State Contact Agency in St. Louis, the things that they did, in my opinion, are things that have never been done in our regional contracts before. Like, again, like I was telling you last time about having a subdivided board where even if something's approved by the full board, it still is not approved until all three states also approve it. So all those safety precautions are put in there to make sure that some of the things that have happened in the past don't happen with this. Like it has to be something that's good for everybody, or it's not for this organization. So that's one of the main things that everybody seems to have an objection to, is they're worried that, hey, some federal money's gonna come down and it's gonna all benefit, Tennessee, but not Arkansas and Mississippi, or vice versa, or whatever. So this, what they did in St. Louis was special, and it did that to make sure that everybody benefited from it. And so I feel much more comfortable experimenting with this, finding out a little bit more about it for that reason. But anyway, let's let a little more time go by and let Anna get the chance to meet with all the boards and answer the questions, and then I'll come back and ask for a board vote. One last thing, when we were talking about this in the Council of Governments meeting, the discussion came up again about the Metropolitan Planning Organization has an annual fee that the county has always paid. And last year, the county asked that the cities share in that fee based on population, a pro rata share based on population. And the timing of it was kind of bad. I think it was like right after we set the budget, and coincidentally, it's right after we set the budget again. But anyway, they're asking us to, and we don't have to vote on this tonight, but I just wanted to inform you about it, and then we can, in the near future, vote on it again. But basically, the fee is $185,314 a year. And all the cities and county benefit. Y'all know that we benefited from a lot of MPO money, federal money for transportation projects. So if you break it down based, if you break it down based on population, of that 185,314, Southaven's share would be $25,066. And then again, they would break it down, for the county, Hernando, Walls, Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch. But just be thinking about that. They've asked us if we would share in those dues. So in the near future, again, I'll ask you for a formal vote on that. $25,066. And the total's $185,314. So, is there any discussion about, any questions for me about that? Well, in the budget, we do have a capital improvements line. Yeah, we could take it out of there, or we could wait, and if there's, if we see a potential surplus throughout the year, we could just do a budget amendment. A lot of times, we'll find out that our sales tax revenue is higher than we projected. If we see a trend like that, then we could just do a straight up budget amendment. Yes. Yeah, sure. We did, I think it was the timing of it. We had just set the budget, and in the Council of Governments meeting, there were some other mayors that actually questioned the timing of it. And so that's what kind of halted it. And so, yeah, this board voted not to do that last year. The MPO, that's a great question. The MPO has been an extremely valuable organization. So it's federal money that's allocated to metropolitan areas. So Memphis, the MPO is the Memphis Planning Organization. So that federal money goes to the entire Memphis metro, and then all the cities and counties make applications for projects. So like Whitney would help with this. So we submit a project and we show traffic counts and the need, And so you make an application to the MPO on what you want, how much money. Then it's awarded based on the merit of it. It's, the traffic counts justify. An example of that is the Getwell widening project that's about to happen south of Church Road to Star Landing. That's $9.5 billion. And so it's an 80-20 plan. So that we get 80% of that is being funded by federal dollars. So it's huge. Like it's things. What'd you say? Sorry.
So was that direct benefit?
Yes, yeah. And we made application for that project a long time ago. Was it 15 with you? So we made application in 2015 for that. And then there's a limited amount of money. So the area has to do give and take. Like I'll give you a good example of that. 2 years ago, Hernando had a chance to get the McInville Road interchange on 269. And so all the cities came together and we agreed that that's big. That will help Hernando so much and it will help our entire county. So we put some of our projects on hold. And so Hernando got the McInville project with a limited amount of money. Now ours is the next one that's based on traffic counts that has the most merit. So the Getwell project now has been funded. But you basically make application, then you're either awarded it or not. Then when you get awarded the project, there has to be enough money to make it happen. And in this case, it is good. So some others that have happened, we had a plan through the Church Road between I-55 and Highway 51 was resurfaced, I think, in 2016. That was a significant amount of money. That was MPO money. Whitney, help me out. There were several
Even
others.
the pedestrian plans that we're working on right here, the one that's around Snowden Road was done with that, it's pedestrian work too.
Yeah.
The one that goes from Central to Snowden. We had Nail Road, we designed Nail Road for the widening and the punch through to Sweeney. That was designed with that money, all it has an 80-20 split too. So it has to do with road project, transportation improvement projects.
So it's really valuable to all of us for projects that are too big for us. Like we can't, a $10 million project, we don't, cities don't have the budget for that. I mean, if somebody said, well, why is the federal government paying money for city road projects? And the answer is real simple, because we pay taxes, and so some of that money should be allocated back, back to the cities, and that's what it's for. But the fee, I think the issue with the fee is it's kind of structured with MPO based on counties. So like, every county in the Memphis Metro is kind of like the representative, and then we're, again, obviously a subdivision of DeSoto County. It's just a philosophical. I mean, we pay a large amount of money to the county. There's no doubt about that. $21 billion goes to the county that's generated inside the city of Southaven. I guess it's just a philosophical thing if you think they should pay it or we should pay it. I commend the county. Lately, there have been some projects that they're doing that will benefit the city. We did a three-way partnership on the Lander Center roads. County, paying their share of that. The Mackinville Swing Connection. You may not know about that since you're new to the board, but that project where Sweeney dead ends at Star Landing, if you can envision that for a second. So if you take a bird's eye view of that, then on the south side, Mackinville comes north, and they just are barely offset. And so there's some tremendous value to the county and everybody as a whole to connect those two roads. Because then you would have another access to 269 from Southaven. It also would benefit Hernando greatly with economic development, because consumers can get south and get to Hernando quicker. So the county, there's a piece of that that's in South. Most of it is in the county, but there's a piece of that that is in Southaven. But the county stepped up to pay for that, so I commend them for that. So there's some things that we work well. I mean, we do work well together. But anyway, it's just I think the main thing, and again, not putting words in the board member's mouth, but I think the main thing from what I heard last year is, we want to see more investment back into the cities from the county. We put a lot of money into their budget. I mean, that's just a fact. The numbers don't lie. We understand that we have joint things that we share, the judicial system, we have to pay our part of that. But anyway, it's just a philosophical thing. should we have to share that, or should that be paid from the money that is generated in the city? So y'all be thinking about that, and then in the near future, we'll revisit that. Okay, that's all I have this evening. Is there anything that I said, any questions for me about that or anything else? We'll move on. Next on the agenda is our personnel document.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the personnel docket as presented on the state.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our city attorney's legal update.
Two items that came in late. First item is just authorization for an alcohol variance under our substance use policy for the Snow House on November 5th at Southaven Chamber. For approval from that.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries.
And the next item is authorization for the mayor to sign the contract with the Southern County School Board of Education for providing SROs to the school district. This Board of Education will pay us $103,000, and we're, as part of that, we'll provide 2 SROs to them for the school year. Obviously, we provide more than that, so that we cover all our expenses. It's higher than it used to be in the past as far as paying coaches.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our utility bill adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the utility bill leak adjustment docket as presented on the state.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
And that motion carries. Next on our agenda are 2 claims dockets.
Mayor, I move we approve the claims docket number 1 in the amount of $2,422,386.50 including demand checks.
Second.
We have a motion on docket 1 by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Now, is there a motion to approve docket 2?
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve docket number 2 in the amount of $16,425.76.
Docket 2, we have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That motion carries. Next on our agenda is the purpose of determining the need for executive session.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. And the need this evening are to discuss right-of-way easements, potential litigation against the city, personnel, and Southaven Police Department, and economic development. Is there a motion to declare executive session? We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Jerome. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board will now enter executive session.